So, we're less than 24 hours away from the potential debut at the United Center of CM Punk for AEW. And, you know, how do I say this? Basically, the anticipation, if you will, that's the word I'm looking for. The anticipation has been off the charts. For weeks, for the past few months, the anticipation has just been off the charts for CM Punk's arrival. But honestly, I think we have to ask ourselves this one question. Are we going to be disappointed? Or are we going to be, blowing the internet up with our excitement? And the reason I ask that question, or those questions I should say, is we all know that a lot of stuff could happen at the last minute. A lot of things could occur that pretty much will ruin, what was originally planned, or reschedule it. And if AEW doesn't deliver on CM Punk in some way tomorrow night, or tonight, depending on when you watch this, then it's going to be one of those situations to where they'll still have momentum on their side, but people are not going to be very, very loving, or trustworthy of AEW going forward. Because even if they do finally deliver on CM Punk, but it's not tomorrow night, and let's say they wait till All Out, at the Now Arena, in the suburb of Chicago, then yeah, AEW, the AEW faithful, the wrestling world gets CM Punk, but it's still going to be a matter of, trusting anything Tony Khan or All Elite Wrestling says ever again. Because, you promised them one thing and you didn't deliver on it until a later date. And if I'm AEW, I don't want to do that. If I'm AEW and I want to solidify that we are a major player to be taken seriously no matter who you are that looks down upon us, then I deliver on what is being promised. I deliver on what is being hyped up and what has been hinted at. Is basically what has been pretty much spoiled by every facet of the imagination. I mean, even a Chicago Bears broadcaster during a preseason game this past weekend spoiled pretty much the debut of CM Punk at Rampage. CM Punk himself, over the past few months, has hinted that he might show up in AEW at Rampage at the United Center. You have all these hints and clues being dropped. And if it's for nothing, then that trust factor that all of the AEW faithful, all the wrestling fans have for all the wrestling in general, it'll be basically put on thin ice. And AEW will have to do whatever they can to rebuild that trust, if you will. They would have to do whatever they can to rebuild that trust. Now, on the other hand, the internet could crash tomorrow night. Twitter, Facebook, social media, YouTube, they could crash. Not, figuratively or literally. Well, figuratively, yes. Literally, no. But, yeah, there could be an overwhelming response on the positive sides of CM Punk debuting. But the question is, how does he show up? What is the moment on Rampage? Is it at the beginning? Is it in the middle? Is it at the end? What portion of that show does CM Punk show up at that causes the internet to explode? Who does he interact with? Does he interact with Darby Allin? Does he interact with Kenny Omega? Does he interact with Miro? Who is the one? Does he interact with Jon Moxley, somebody he knows from his WWE days and even Ring of Honor CZW days? Does he interact with him? No one really knows. No one can really figure that out. The only people that know the answer to that are Tony Khan and CM Punk himself. But but no matter, I should say, of when he shows up on Rampage tomorrow night, there is no doubt the internet, figuratively, not literally, social media will explode. The IWC, figuratively, not literally, will explode. The YWC will be the same way. But again, the question is, when does it happen? When does that moment happen? When does the reaction that's being live streamed or pre-recorded of those watching Rampage for that moment to occur, when does those videos, those live streams get the views, basically skyrocketed to the moon, as Cameron Grimes would say on NXT? When does that happen? We don't know. But the thing is with AEW, with all this hype going in, they have no choice but to deliver. They have no choice but to deliver. You book the United Center, a place that has yet to have any wrestling since the days of WCW. You book the United Center for its first wrestling event in over 20-something years, with basically the advertisement of CM Punk's debut on Rampage, which you are giving the subtitle of The First Dance. You're going through all this trouble. You're having all these people talking about it, hyping it up, dropping spoilers. Even people, like I said, broadcasters of Chicago Bears football, dropping spoilers and everything, hints. Even Punk himself doing it. Basically all this trouble is going all crazy. All this trouble is going all crazy, all mayhem-like. And with all that going on, you have no choice but to follow through on it by delivering what you're pretty much promising. And if you don't, and you wait till All Out to deliver CM Punk in person, in the flesh, then there's going to be that matter of trust. It's going to be a matter of trust. Yeah, the trust may not be as bad, or the mistrust or the matter of trust may not be as bad as, between fans and WWE, but still there will be that matter of trust and believability, between the fans and AEW. Like I said, maybe not as bad as what's between fans and WWE, but it'll be there. And yeah, fans of AEW, hardcore wrestling fans, whatever you want to call them, might be more forgiving of the situation, because maybe you have Punk show up on the screen and say, hey, I'll see you all back here in Chicago for All Out. And that's great. But what fans are expecting in that United Center, the reason they sold out that 23,000 seat arena, is for Punk. That's who they sold it out for. They didn't just sell it out for Darby Allin. They didn't just sell it out for Kenny Omega, for Sting, for Lance Archer, They didn't sell it out for Britt Baker, DMD. They sold it out specifically for Punk. And even if you show Punk on the screen, yeah, they'll be glad to see and hear him and have him indicate he'll be at All Out. But still, there will be that bit of disappointment, like you delivered, but you didn't fully deliver, because you got an on-screen debut of Punk, but not an in-person or in-ring debut. And that's what they want. That's what they're there for. So if I'm AEW, I have to deliver. I have to do whatever. If I'm Tony Khan, I do whatever it takes to deliver on basically what I am promising, what I've been dropping hints of for weeks and for months. What people outside of AEW, outside of wrestling, broadcasters and everything, have been spoiling and dropping hints for weeks and months. Even the person himself, Phil Brooks, has been doing the same thing. Through all that, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm AEW, I have no choice but to deliver on what I'm promising. That's what I need to do. Because I can tell you right now, yeah, there will be cheers if he just shows up on the screen, but those cheers will be drowned out by boos, because they'll be like, yay, we're glad to see you, but oh, wait a minute. The realization will hit, like, wait a minute, he's on screen, not here, boo. You don't want that. You want that momentum? You want that momentum? You want people talking about AEW over SummerSlam weekend and talking about how much better a 1 hour Rampage was compared to a 3 to 4 hour SummerSlam? in an hour and a half, 2 hour NXT Takeover 36, then you have to deliver on your promise. You have to deliver on it, and that's and that's about it. You have no other choice. So if I'm AEW, if I'm Tony Khan, and I've done all this is with with the promise that I'm gonna bring in one of the biggest wrestling stars ever in the past decade into my company, a decade after he dropped his infamous pipe bomb on Monday Night Raw. Then I have no choice with everything I've done but to make that promise a reality. Because if I don't, and I only half-ass it by having him on the screen, either with him talking to the people or just having his music play and it says CM Punk, message from CM Punk, see you at All Out. Yeah, I'll get some positive reactions, but then the realization will hit that's not what you were promised, and you're going to get a negative response overlapping that. So I have no choice. So if I'm AEW and I'm Tony Khan, I have no choice. I deliver, and that's it. That's all. I have no choice. I back myself in the corner. I deliver, or I lose all trust. Not completely, temporarily. I lose all trust by the fans. So I have no choice. So AEW, you got two options. You either have people come on the internet and talk about how disappointed they were in you and how you misled them and how they can't trust you anymore, or you have them blow that internet up figuratively with excitement and positivity and images and everything of Punk being there in person. The ball's in your court. After all you've done, All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan, you have no choice. You've backed yourself into a corner, my friends. It's time to put up or shut up. Let me know what you guys think about all this down below in the comments, in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. But AEW, Tony Khan, like I said, backed yourself into a corner now. It's time to put up or shut up tomorrow night at the United Center.